Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive into something I think we can all agree we don't think about too much.
hmm
Our skin.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I know, it doesn't sound super exciting at first, but trust me, by the end of this episode, you're going to be like, wow, skin is amazing.
Yeah, you and me both.
We've got some excerpts from an educational presentation all about the integumentary system,
Oh, okay.
and I'm already geeking out over some of the facts in here.
It's fascinating how much we take our skin for granted.
Exactly. Did you know?
Yeah.
It's our largest organ.
Oh, wow.
And get this,
Yeah.
everyone has the same number of melanocytes,
Hmm.
those cells that make pigment,
Oh,
regardless of skin color. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
it does.
So let's dive into this presentation.
Okay.
It says the integumentary system is more than just our skin.
Right. It's a whole team of players working together.
Okay.
Your skin, hair, and nails all make up this system.
So, it's not just what we think of as skin. It's like all these other things that go along with it.
Right. Think of it as a suit of armor protecting you from the outside world.
Okay, that's a great way to visualize it. And this presentation emphasizes its size and importance.
Yeah.
It's wild to think something so seemingly simple is actually super complex and crucial to our survival.
Absolutely. To really appreciate that complexity, we need to understand how it's structured.
Okay.
The skin itself has two main layers,
Okay.
the epidermis on the outside
Ah,
and the dermis underneath.
like a delicious layer cake.
Hmm.
What's the icing on the skin cake?
That would be the epidermis.
Okay.
It's made up mostly of epithelial cells,
Hmm.
and it's constantly renewing itself.
Oh, wow.
It's a tough barrier that keeps all sorts of nasty stuff from getting into your body.
Makes sense. And holding it all together is the basement membrane.
Yes.
What's the deal with that?
Think of it as the foundation of a house.
Okay.
It anchors the epidermis to the dermis,
Uh-huh.
and it's made of collagen,
Okay.
a protein that provides strength and structure. Without it, your skin would basically fall apart.
Yikes. Okay, so we've got the top layer, the epidermis, anchored to the dermis.
Right.
What's happening down in the dermis?
The dermis is like the bustling city beneath the surface.
Okay.
It has two layers,
Okay.
the papillary layer right below the epidermis,
Uh-huh.
and the deeper reticular layer.
Okay.
The reticular layer is like the downtown area, packed with blood vessels, hair follicles,
Wow.
and those sweat glands that keep you from overheating.
So much going on under there.
Okay.
This presentation mentions keratin as a key ingredient for skin strength.
Right. Keratin is like the brick and mortar of your skin,
Okay.
giving it strength and resilience.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fibrous protein,
Uh-huh.
and specialized cells called keratinocytes are constantly churning it out.
Wow, so it's like a constant construction project happening in our skin. That's pretty cool.
It is.
And it sounds like this keratin is what helps our skin handle all the wear and tear of daily life.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about something we all experience.
Sure.
The sun.
Ugh, the sun.
We love it. We need it.
Yes,
But we also need to respect its power.
we do.
You were telling me.
Mm-hmm.
We all know too much sun is bad.
Right.
But I'm curious about the science behind it.
Mhm.
What's actually happening to our skin at a microscopic level when we're soaking up those rays?
Well, the sun emits ultraviolet UV radiation.
Okay.
And there are two types that particularly affect our skin.
Okay.
UVA and UVB.
Hmm.
Think of UVA as the sneaky one.
Okay.
It penetrates deep into the dermis
Uh-huh.
and messes with your collagen and elastin,
Okay.
the proteins that keep your skin firm and elastic.
Right.
That's why too much UVA exposure leads to wrinkles and premature aging.
Oh, so those fine lines I'm starting to see are thanks to UVA.
Could be.
Not cool. What about UVB?
UVB is the one that gives you a sunburn.
Okay.
It's mostly absorbed by the epidermis
Hmm.
and can seriously damage the DNA in our skin cells, which is why it significantly increases your risk of skin cancer.
Wow, that's scary stuff.
It is.
But our skin isn't completely defenseless, right?
Yeah.
This presentation mentions melanin as a natural sunscreen.
Exactly. Melanin is like your skin's personal bodyguard against those harmful UV rays.
Okay.
It's a pigment produced by those melanocytes we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
and it's found in the epidermis.
Wait, so if everyone has the same number of melanocytes, why do we have different skin colors?
That's where it gets fascinating. It's not about the number of melanocytes,
Okay.
but the amount and type of melanin they produce.
Hmm.
This is determined by genetics
Okay.
and is why we see such a beautiful diversity of skin tones.
Okay, that makes sense. So those with darker skin have melanocytes that produce more melanin,
Exactly.
giving them more natural protection from the sun.
And that raises some interesting questions about how skin color evolved in different parts of the world and the impact of UV exposure on different populations throughout history.
Whoa. That's definitely food for thought. So
Wow.
we've got this incredible natural defense system in our skin,
What'd you do?
but we still need to be smart about sun exposure. Absolutely.
Let's talk about skin cancer, because that's a major concern.
It's the most common type of cancer in the U.S., so it's definitely something we need to take seriously.
Mm-hmm.
This presentation lists three main types: basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma.
Those are some big words. Can you break those down for us?
Sure, basal and squamous cell carcinomas are the most common,
Okay.
and they tend to grow slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Melanoma, however, is more aggressive
Okay.
and can spread to other parts of the body if not caught early.
That sounds scary. What are the risk factors besides sun exposure?
Having fair skin, lots of moles, a family history of skin cancer, and even using tanning beds can all increase your risk.
So prevention is key here.
It is.
This source emphasizes that sunscreen, protective clothing, and avoiding the midday sun are our best defenses.
Absolutely.
And if something seems off with your skin, early detection is crucial.
Early detection and treatment dramatically increase the chances of survival.
Wow, okay, and now that we've covered some of the basics of skin structure and function, let's dive into some of the more intricate details.
Okay,
You ready for this?
bring it on. I'm already hooked on all this skin science. What's next on our deep dive agenda?
Let's zoom in on a fascinating feature of the integumentary system. Hair follicles.
Hair follicles. I never really thought of them as anything special, just little holes where hair grows out.
Well, prepare to be amazed.
Okay.
Hair follicles are much more complex than they appear.
Mhm.
They extend from the epidermis all the way down into the dermis, and they're actually tiny organs.
Wait, organs? Like miniature versions of our heart or lungs?
Well, maybe not that complex, but definitely more than just a simple hole.
Mm.
At the base of each follicle is the hair bulb,
Okay.
where cells are constantly dividing and producing new hair.
Uh-huh.
It's a mini factory down there. And there's the hair papilla,
Okay.
which supplies blood to the hair bulb, fueling hair growth.
Okay, I'm starting to see why you're so excited about hair follicles. It really is a mini production line for each hair on our bodies.
It is.
What else is happening down there?
Well, remember those goosebumps we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
They're caused by tiny muscles attached to each hair follicle called erector pili muscles. When you get cold or scared, these muscles contract, pulling the hair upright and creating those little bumps.
That's amazing. I love how all these little details come together to form a complete picture.
Right.
So we've got these tiny organs, hair follicles, producing hair, and attached to them are muscles that can make the hair stand on end.
Exactly.
What other surprises does the skin have in store for us?
Let's talk about the sebaceous glands.
Yeah.
You know those tiny oil factories in the dermis?
Yes.
Yeah.
The source of many teenage woes. They produce sebum, right?
They do.
That oily substance that keeps our skin and hair soft and lubricated.
Yeah.
It's a natural moisturizer, too, which is good. But too much sebum can lead to clogged pores and, well, you know, the rest.
Exactly. Sebum gets a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's actually essential for healthy skin and hair. It prevents water loss, keeps things supple,
Okay.
and even has some antimicrobial properties. But you're right, too much of it can lead to acne, which is basically inflammation of these glands.
It's all about balance, as with most things in life.
It is.
Now, speaking of keeping things running smoothly, this source highlights a surprising role of the skin that totally blew my mind when I read it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
It's actually an accessory organ of the excretory system.
Wait, really? So our skin helps us get rid of waste?
Yes. Sweat glands in the skin produce sweat, which is mostly water, but also contains salts and other waste products.
That's incredible. I knew sweat helped regulate body temperature, but I never realized it also played a role in eliminating waste.
It does.
I'm starting to see my skin in a whole new light.
It's like a multi-talented performer juggling all these vital functions behind the scenes.
And we've only just begun to explore its amazing capability.
We have.
Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're just getting warmed up on this deep dive into the integumentary system. There's so much more to uncover.
There is.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the fascinating world of skin.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the integumentary system.
I'm ready for more.
Before, we were talking about how our skin helps us get rid of waste, and that leads perfectly into another one of the skin's amazing talents.
Okay, you've got my attention. What else can this incredible organ do?
It's a master at maintaining your body's fluid balance.
Fluid balance, how does that work?
Remember how we talked about sweat glands releasing sweat to regulate temperature?
Yeah.
Well, that sweating also helps prevent dehydration.
Mm.
It does this by releasing excess water and electrolytes from your body.
So it's like a built-in system for making sure our fluid levels are just right.
Exactly. And on the flip side, the skin also prevents your body from absorbing too much water when you're swimming or in humid environments.
Oh, okay. It acts as a barrier, keeping everything in balance.
Wow, I never thought of my skin as a fluid regulator.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Like a natural thermostat and a water filter all in one.
It really is remarkable. Now let's switch gears and talk about another vital function.
Hey,
Sensory perception.
sensory perception. You mean our skin helps us feel things, isn't that obvious?
Of course, we all know our skin can feel things, but have you ever considered how it does that?
Not really.
The skin is packed with sensory receptors that allow you to experience the world around you.
Okay.
These receptors detect touch, pressure, temperature, pain, and even vibrations.
So when I feel the softness of a blanket or the warmth of the sun, that's thanks to these receptors in my skin sending messages to my brain.
Exactly. They're like tiny messengers, constantly sending signals to the brain, which then interprets those signals as different sensations.
Okay.
It's how you navigate your environment and interact with the world. Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing. It's like our skin is a giant communication network, always sending updates to headquarters.
That's a great way to think about it. And speaking of communication, let's move on to another amazing connection.
Okay.
The skin's role in vitamin D production.
Vitamin D, isn't that the sunshine vitamin?
It is, but it's not as simple as just soaking up the sun.
Okay.
When UVB rays hit your skin, they trigger a chemical reaction. This reaction converts a precursor molecule in your skin into vitamin D.
Hold on. So our skin actually makes vitamin D.
Precisely. It's like having a built-in vitamin factory.
That's so cool.
And vitamin D is essential for strong bones, a healthy immune system, and a whole host of other bodily functions.
I'm seriously impressed. Our skin protects us, regulates fluids, gives us the sense of touch, and produces vitamins. Is there anything it can't do?
It really is a superhero organ, but even superheroes have their weaknesses.
Right.
We've already talked about skin cancer, but there are other threats to skin health that we should be aware of.
Right, like infections, rashes, and allergic reactions.
Yeah.
It's important to know how to protect ourselves from those.
Absolutely. For example, bacterial infections like impetigo and cellulitis can happen when bacteria enter through cuts or breaks in the skin.
Okay.
Viral infections like chickenpox and shingles can cause painful rashes. And fungal infections like athlete's foot and ringworm love warm, moist environments.
So good hygiene is essential, like washing our hands and keeping our skin clean and dry.
Exactly. And if you notice any unusual changes in your skin, redness, swelling, itching, or pain, see a dermatologist to get it checked out.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. I had no idea how much was going on beneath the surface of my skin, from the constant cell turnover to the incredible way it heals itself.
And we're not done yet. Let's talk about the skin's amazing ability to heal itself.
Self-healing. Tell me more.
It's a truly remarkable process. When you get injured, whether it's a minor cut or a major wound, your skin kicks into repair mode.
Okay.
It sets off a chain reaction designed to fix the damage and restore its integrity.
So what's the first step in this amazing process?
Immediately after an injury, blood vessels in the area constrict to reduce bleeding.
Okay.
Then platelets in your blood come together to form a clot, which seals the wound and prevents further blood loss.
Okay.
That's what creates a scab.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does the actual healing happen?
Once the bleeding is under control, your immune system steps in.
Okay.
White blood cells rush to the injury to fight off any bacteria that might have gotten in. These immune cells also release chemicals that trigger inflammation, which is actually crucial for healing.
Wait, inflammation is a good thing in this case.
Absolutely. Inflammation is like sending out an SOS signal. It brings more blood flow to the injured area,
Okay.
delivering nutrients and oxygen needed for tissue repair.
Okay.
It also helps clear out damaged cells and debris.
Okay, so inflammation is like a necessary evil. It might be uncomfortable, but it's helping things get back on track.
Exactly. Now, for the rebuilding phase, we have specialized cells called fibroblasts.
Fibroblast.
These are the construction workers of the skin.
Okay.
They produce collagen and other proteins that form the structural framework.
So fibroblasts are like the architects and builders of new skin.
Precisely. They migrate to the wound site and start laying down new tissue, rebuilding the damaged area brick by brick.
Wow, it's like watching a construction project unfold under a microscope.
It really is. And as this new tissue forms, the wound starts to close. If it's a small cut, the edges just grow together.
Okay.
But for larger wounds, new skin cells called keratinocytes migrate from the edges inward, gradually covering the exposed area.
It's like the skin knows exactly what it's doing. Like
Yeah.
it has a blueprint for repair.
It's a remarkable process, isn't it?
It is.
And as the healing progresses, the scab eventually falls off, revealing the newly formed skin underneath.
But is the new skin exactly the same as the old skin?
That's a great question. While the skin does an amazing job at repairing itself, the new skin might not be identical to the original.
Okay.
It might be slightly thinner or have a different texture. And depending on the severity of the injury, you might have some scarring.
So even though our skin is a master healer, sometimes there's a visible reminder of what happened.
That's true. But it's important to remember that scars are just a sign that your body healed itself. They're a testament to its resilience and ability to bounce back.
This deep dive is making me appreciate my skin on a whole new level. I never knew how much was happening behind the scenes. From constant cell renewal to this complex healing process.
It's a testament to the incredible power and adaptability of the human body.
And there's still more to explore. Stay tuned for Recaliers, Part 3 of our deep dive into the fascinating world of the integumentary system. Welcome back to our deep dive into the integumentary system.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've journeyed through the layers of the skin,
Yes.
explored its incredible functions, and even witnessed its amazing self-healing powers.
And now we're going to take a closer look at the connection between the skin and the nervous system. It's a truly fascinating partnership.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We already talked about those sensory receptors in the skin that allow us to feel things.
Yes.
But how does that fit into the bigger picture?
Those sensory receptors are part of a vast network of nerves that run throughout your skin.
Okay.
Like a complex web, these nerves are constantly sending signals to your brain, providing a constant stream of information about the world outside.
It was like a two-way communication highway between the skin and the brain, always sending updates back and forth.
Exactly. The brain receives information from the skin about touch, temperature, pain, and other sensations. And in response, the brain can send signals back to the skin,
Okay.
influencing things like blood flow, sweat production, and even hair follicle activity.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when I get goosebumps from a cold breeze, that's my brain talking to my skin.
Precisely. Your brain receives signals from those temperature receptors in your skin saying, hey, it's chilly out here. And then it sends signals back to those tiny erector pili muscles attached to your hair follicles, causing them to contract and make the hairs stand on end.
Wow. It's incredible how interconnected everything is. But what about pain? That doesn't sound like a very pleasant conversation between the skin and the brain.
Pain is actually a vital protective mechanism.
Okay.
Think of it as your body's alarm system. When the skin is injured or damaged, pain receptors sound the alarm, sending urgent signals to the brain to let you know something is wrong.
So pain is basically a warning signal,
Yeah.
letting us know we need to pay attention and protect ourselves.
Exactly. It's a crucial part of our survival instinct. Without pain, we wouldn't know to avoid things that could harm us.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Pain might not feel good, but it serves an important purpose.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little more nuanced. The skin's role in emotional expression.
Emotional expression.
Yeah.
I mean, our skin can show how we're feeling.
Absolutely. Think about blushing when you're embarrassed or feeling your skin flush when you're angry.
Right.
These are visible signs of your nervous system responding to your emotions. It influences blood flow in the skin, leading to those changes in color.
So when we say things like red with anger or pale with fear, those are actually physiological responses.
Precisely. Your nervous system is always reacting to your emotions, and those reactions can manifest in visible ways through your skin.
It's like our emotions are written all over our faces, literally.
Well said. And this connection between the skin and emotions goes even deeper. Studies have shown that the simple act of touch can have profound effects on our emotional well-being.
I can definitely see that. A hug from a loved one can be incredibly comforting.
Exactly. Touch can release endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in the brain, and it can also lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol. So physical contact can actually have a calming and soothing effect on the nervous system.
This deep dive has been a revelation. We started with the basic structure of the skin and ended up exploring its incredible connection to our nervous system and even our emotions.
It really highlights the fact that the skin is so much more than just a superficial covering. It's an integral part of our overall health and well-being.
I'm definitely looking at my skin in a whole new light now. It's like a complex, interconnected world that I'm just beginning to understand.
That's the beauty of learning, isn't it?
It is.
It opens up new perspectives and deepens our appreciation for the wonders of the human body.
As we wrap up this deep dive, What's one final takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Considering all we've learned about the skin's protective role, its connection to the nervous system, and its impact on our emotional well-being, how might you start caring for your skin differently?
That's a great question for all of us to consider. From protecting it from the sun to nourishing it with healthy habits, there's so much we could do to support this amazing organ that it does so much for us.
Remember, taking care of your skin isn't just about looking good. It's about honoring the intricate connection between your physical, emotional, and mental well-being.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of the integumentary system. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep taking care of your amazing skin.